Hello students, this video is about high school requirements. By the end of this video, you will be able to explain the difference between high school graduation requirements and college A through G requirements. Let's go ahead and fill out the first page of your packet. Before we begin looking at high school requirements, you need to know some key terms. And these terms are things that are different about how high school counts your classes compared to elementary and middle school. The first thing you need to know is that in high school, there are these things called credits, and these are units of time earned. Go ahead and fill in that blank. There are 2 semesters each school year, and each semester you can earn 5 credits per class. So let's do some math. For each year-long class, you receive 5 credits per semester. There are 2 semesters per year, so that equals 10 credits per class. Go ahead and write in that 10 on your sheet. For each grade level, if there are 10 credits per year-long class and there are 6 classes per year, the total credits each year is 60. So you can earn 60 credits a year. Now, the total number of credits that you could earn in a year, 60 times the number of years in high school, that's 4. That equals 240. You must earn 220 credits, though, in order to graduate. So you actually can earn more credits than you need to graduate. If you fail one semester of a full year class like English, you must make up the credits. This is not elementary school or middle school where they just keep moving you on and say, oh, well, now you're in the next grade. You have to make up the credits in order to graduate. There's a couple of ways you can do that. You can repeat the full year. So let's say you fail 9th grade English. Well, when you're in 10th grade, you could make up 9th grade English by taking it again. That's not real great though, because now you're in 10th grade sitting in a 9th grade English class with a bunch of 9th graders. And at the same time, you're having to take 10th grade English. So it's better to just pass the class the first time. Another option is to go to summer school to repeat the failed semester, or you can go to night school to repeat the failed semester. And if you want more information about graduation requirements and course offerings, you can go to your school's website and look under counselor or course catalog. Either one will work to find out more information. Now remember, the information that I'm giving you is just information. It's not official legal documents. Your counselor, your high school counselor, is the one who can give you any updates, any changes that have happened. I'm just giving you a general plan. Go ahead and do think and write number 1. Use complete sentences and explain your answers. 2 to 3 sentences for each answer. We'll go ahead and pause the video here. All right, let's move on. Now, we're going to focus on packet pages 2 and 3. And first, we're going to use the top of each of those pages. So kind of lay out your packet so that the pages are next to each other. Don't fold page 2 back or else you're going to have to flip back and forth really fast. So just have them next to each other. On page 2 are the high school graduation requirements all listed out, along with the number of years and units that you need to earn in each one. On page 3 is a sample for your plan, and we're going to use information to fill in the blanks that are on your plan. So the items that you see highlighted in gray and are in red font, those are the items that need to be filled in on your chart. So the first set of requirements that we're going to look at are English. You need 4 years of English, so you'll notice that I have it for 9th, 10th, 11th, and fill in 12th grade. While you're filling that in, let me talk to you for a moment about the terms that are at the top there. Grade 9, those students are called freshmen. Grade 10, sophomores. Grade 11, juniors. And grade 12, seniors. So if I'm talking about your junior year, that's your 11th grade year. So I just want to make sure you understand those terms before you get to high school so you don't look silly. You'll look cool. All right, back to page 2. Underneath English, we see world history, and according to the chart, you need 1 year of that. So if we look, you'll see that I've put world history in 10th grade. Going down that column, you'll see it listed there. And it's only 1 year. Then I've got mathematics, and the state requires that you pass Algebra 1. So if you're not in Algebra 1 right now, you need to pass it before you can graduate. If you look, I've placed Algebra 1 in the 9th grade column. You should be taking care of that during your 9th grade year. Now this is important because right now you're taking a math class that is most likely preparing you or trying to prepare you for that Algebra 1 class. Few students are in Algebra 1 as 8th graders, but most are in pre-algebra or algebra support or Math 8 or some other version. Now you need to take Algebra 1 and you need to pass it. So you have to take care of that. Take care of your math requirement. Do well in 8th grade math so that you can take care of that math requirement as a 9th grader. You'll notice the second math class I have listed is geometry. That's sophomore year. Then that requirement's taken care of. The next item on page 2 is PE, physical education. Along with taking 2 years of PE, which I have in 9th and 10th grade, you must pass the 9th grade fitness test. Next, you'll see health on page 2, and it says that it's a 0.5, which means that it's only 1 semester long. So is world geography. It's also a 0.5. So if you look on the freshman column, the grade 9 column, you'll see that I have each of those listed. That's because you could take world geography 1 semester and health the 2nd semester and take care of both of those requirements. Now, if you fail either one of those, you have to make up those classes. The last item on the list is U.S. history, and it is 1 year long. So if you look, I have placed U.S. history in the 11th grade column, and you need to be filling that in. So now that I have shown you how to read the requirement course list and fill it into a 4-year plan, we're going to pick up our pace for this next section. All right, you'll notice that I've filled in the rest of your chart. Now, you'll notice under 11th grade, there's VAPA. Now, you might wonder, what in the world is VAPA? VAPA is Visual and Performing Arts, and you need 1 year of that. You also need a world language. On my chart, I've used the older term, foreign language. You need at least 1 year of foreign language. And then you also need to take technology and world language, physical science, life science, all of those things. So we fill that all in, and we find ourselves at the end of the chart where it simply says that you need to take 50 units of electives. Those 50 units can be completed over the course of the 4 years. So over the 4 years, you need 50 units of electives. And so you'll see that in the 12th grade year, that's quite a few electives. Now, the electives in high school are much more exciting and interesting than in middle school. You have a lot more choices. You can take photography, you can take creative writing, you can take weightlifting. There's all kinds of options for electives because you need them to graduate. So electives give you a lot of choice. At this point, you should have this entire chart filled out. Now, keep in mind that this is just a suggestion. You don't need to go to your freshman counselor and say, oh my goodness, I don't have my physical science, you gave me an elective instead. Work it out with them. But mostly, I just want you to know what you should be taking so you can have that conversation with your counselor if there is a mistake on your schedule. But it doesn't have to exactly look like this chart. This is just a suggestion of how the classes could be laid out. Now let's take a look at what the requirements are to attend college. These are different requirements. They are more rigorous, more difficult. So now we're on the bottom of pages 2 and 3. And you're looking at these charts. College requirement are called the A through G requirements. So from now on, when you talk to your high school counselor, once you get to high school, I want you to throw out this A through G courses and A through G classes. Hey, how am I doing on my A through G requirements? That kind of thing. It makes you look like you really know what you're talking about, which, hey, after this video, you will. All right, we're using the A through G requirements listed on page 2 to fill out the 4-year plan on page 3. Let's go ahead and get started on that. So looking at requirement A, it says you need 2 years of history. So looking at the chart under 10th grade, it shows world history there, and you need to fill that one in. But I also have US history there. Okay. The next requirement, B, is English. You have to have 4 years. So go ahead and again fill that in for 12th grade. The thing is, though, that you need to make sure you're taking a college prep English. So a CP English, as it's called, college prep. So just jot yourself a quick little note somewhere on this chart, just reminding yourself to make sure if you're planning to go to college, make sure you're taking college prep English. There is a difference. Requirement C is 3 years of math, but 4 are recommended. Now, when they say recommended, they mean if you want to get in, because they're pretty picky. A lot of people are trying to get into university right now. And if they're looking at your transcript, which is a list of your classes, and you've got 3 years of math, and they're looking at someone else who has 4 years of math, the person with 4 years is getting into college. You're not getting into that college. It's a competition. So do the 4 years. So you'll notice that I have for 9th grade Algebra 1, 10th grade Geometry, grade 2 Algebra 2, and that's all you have to do, but I'm recommending you also take like pre-calculus, trigonometry, something like that. So anything with that little star, which is called an asterisk, that is a suggestion, but I say go for it. All right, now let's look at the bottom half of those requirements. Requirement 12 is laboratory science. These are sciences that require lab time dissecting, or time making, or trying not to blow things up in chemistry, that kind of thing. So you'll notice that on the chart, on your page 3 chart, I've filled in biology and chemistry. And then there's a suggestion you also take physics, because they say 2 years, 2 years required, 3 years recommended. And at the same time, you need to take that earth science because you have to take care of your high school requirements at the same time. I know, it's a lot. And then you've got your language other than English, which I've got listed as foreign language. They say 2 years, 3 years recommended. So on the 4-year plan, I have 3 years written down. And we have our visual and performing arts, our VAPA, and you'll look under 12th grade, there's college prep art. Again, you always want to make sure that those classes are college prep, because there are college prep and there are non-college prep classes. And you want to make sure you're taking the college prep classes. You also want to get in that technology class, which would count as an elective, because the technology class you need in order to get the high school diploma. So you don't want to skip technology because it's required for your high school diploma. You have to meet the high school requirements, and on top of that, the A through G requirements. And the last one is a college preparatory elective, and you'll see under 12th grade, I have that written down as CP elective. So now that you've created 2 4-year plans, 2 different versions, I want you to think about how are these different? Why is it that the A through G 4-year plan, the college entrance, Why does that one require so much more work? I also want you to think about which one is easier and why would that be easier? As I wrap up this video, I want to point out to you something that is at the bottom of the A through G list on page 2. Along with meeting all those A through G requirements, you also need to meet the GPA requirement for the university, and uh, you must take the SAT or ACT, which is a big national standardized test, and you have to meet the requirement for the score on that. Your high school counselor will be able to give you these charts and more information on that. You can earn extra GPA points by taking honors, which are labeled as H, and advanced placement, which are labeled as AP courses, the last 3 years of high school. So honors looks really good. Advanced placement, if you take the test at the end of the year, you can get college credits that you can then take to whatever college you attend. So that means you can start college with units already in place. Some people are so good at this that they start college with one entire semester completed. So they're a semester ahead of everybody else starting college. It's a great idea if you can do it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's really hard, but it's worth it to get the free units. So if you can, do it. But not everybody gets to get into advanced placement. It's pretty tough to get in there. Also, remember that CSU and UC entrance is a competition. So remember that you need to make yourself competitive. You need to be prepared to compete against others. And the colleges are not just looking at your grades, not just looking at your scores. They're looking to see what activities have you been involved in? Do you volunteer somewhere? Do you have a job after school? Do you participate in sports? All of those things look really good to the colleges. So you want to make sure you're doing more than just studying. This is what I tell my students, my 8th graders. Make the choices that give you options after high school. Maybe right now you're sitting here thinking, hey, I'll go for the high school diploma, the high school graduation requirements. That looks easy. But the thing is, you might get to your junior or senior year and think, wait a minute, I want to go to college. I want to go to university. But you haven't met the requirements. You haven't taken care of the A through G requirements. If you start off your freshman year planning to do the A through G requirements and making sure you get those classes, then you have that option of going to college or not. You might decide you want to go to a trade school. Nothing wrong with that. But if you decide you want to go to university, you can. You have options. So make the choices that give you options after high school. Same thing applies now. If you are failing your math class, you are limiting your options for when you get to high school. If you are failing your English class, you are limiting your options for when you get to high school, which limits your options for after high school. So you need to be passing those classes. Science, history, math, English, they are all keys to getting more options in high school. Go ahead and do think and write number 3 on page 3. Use complete sentences and explain your answers, 2 to 3 sentences for each answer. This is the end of our video.